Howdy, y'all. Today we're talking about the best skink artifacts. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite command traits and artifacts, maybe what your favorite loadout is for your skink heroes. That's what we're going to be talking about. So let's get on with it. Here we go. Skink command traits. So we're going to look at some command traits for skink heroes and then artifacts that pair well with those. And remember, skink heroes have a lot of different things that are keyworded skinks. That includes everything from your skink priest, the little tiny skink priest, skink star priest, skink star seer, all the way up to your troglodyns and stegadons. They're all have that skink keyword. So all these can apply to a lot of different things that have that skink keyword. So keep that in mind as we're looking through those. There's some pretty fun combinations that are here. So skink command traits. First one is Master of Star Rituals. Add 1 to casting rolls for this general if they are a wizard. If they are not a wizard, then once per battle round, they can use a Herald of the Old One's command ability from the Skink Priest War Scroll without a command point being spent. This one is quite versatile. This one, if you're putting it on a wizard, so we have quite a few different skink wizards, they get +1 to their casting. That's pretty nice. I like this one if I'm taking a Troglodon, because you can add another +1 to his casting. And so that Troglodon already has a +1 to cast. You can put this one on it. Now he's +2. You can even have some in the spell lore. There's a way to make it +3. If you wanted to give the Troglodon the Sacred Asterisms to give him another +1, you'd be at +4 to cast for a Troglodon. Now, he only has 1 spell, so maybe that's not the best use of this, but there's some fun stuff in this one. The second part of this command trait, I think, is where this gets used the most. If they are not a wizard, then once per battle round, they can use the Herald of the Old One's command ability. And what that is, it's from the Skink Priest War Scroll. What that does is it gives +1 to hit. And so you'll see this a lot in Fangs of Sotek, because you can get out of there that subfaction's command traits and put this on a Skink Priest, and now he can use his command ability once per battle round for free. And with this, you're basically getting 1 command point every turn for free. You don't have to spend it. And that's really nice, especially if you're going up against something like Lumineth Realm Lords, who makes you have to spend 2 command points for every one you want to spend. This one, you get past that, it's just for free. Very nice. I think I ranked the source ones, so let's rank these. I'm going to give this one an A. I like it. It's useful. It's versatile. It can go into a lot of lists. I like that one. Number 2, Nimble. Add 1 to the general's move characteristics and add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target them. Yeah, this one I like a lot too. This one we're at the +1 to move is nice. Why +1 to move is kind of that's a low little bonus there, just +1. But we do get +1 to save rolls. That's what I'm taking this for. That Nimble +1 to save rolls. This pairs so well with Stegadons. You add this on a Stegadon who's at a 4-up naturally, but he can be at a 3-up against a unit with 5 or fewer models. So you're looking to hit those elite units with the Stegadon, and now he'll be at a 3-up. With this, you're making that Stegadon go down to a 2-up. Yes, thank you. I will take that. I like this Nimble command trait. Number 3, Cunning. At the start of the this is great. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 of this general and roll a dice. On a 4-up, that enemy hero suffers 1 mortal wound. I'm willing to bet the person who wrote the first 2 command traits did not write this 3rd command trait, because I cannot imagine any situation where I would take this. You have to be within 3 inches of a hero at the start of the command phase, and then on a 4-up, you do 1 mortal? So over the course of a game, let's pretend you're in with an enemy hero every single combat phase. You're going to do 2 mortals. No, thank you. That one is an F. That one fails. So take 1 or 2. Those are amazing. 3, not so much. Let's look at I still wrote source on here. That's supposed to say skink command trait. But these are the subfaction command traits, actually. And most of these we can actually get out of. So Dracothian's Tail, there's not one for skink. Fangs of Sotek, there's not one for skinks. Kotal's Claw, there's not one for skinks. Thunder Lizard is only for mounted heroes that they have a command trait, and that's +1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons used by that general's mounts, which is kind of interesting because this command trait affects the mount, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of flexibility in here. A lot of these are keyworded to very specific things and not skinks, and so you can get out of these in these subfactions. So Thunder Lizard, I actually still like this command trait in Thunder Lizard, especially if you're using it on a Stegadon, which you're probably using in Thunder Lizards. Stegadons have a lot of mount melee profiles, and so this adds 1 to all those attacks. Fantastic ability, especially if used in Thunderquake, where you're adding another attack to those attack characteristics. So a lot of good flexibility here in that we can get out of most of these command traits in the subfaction. So that kind of helps us out in that we can pick some different stuff. So command traits are good, especially these ones up here where we're talking the Nimble and the Master Star Rituals. You're looking to put those on something if you can. All right, so Skink Artifacts. Let's look at the artifacts now. First one is Incandescent Retresses. You might recognize that name from the previous battle tome. The first time the bearer is slain, before removing them from the battlefield, roll a dice. 1 to 3, the bearer is slain. 4 to 6, they're not slain. They come back and everything's healed. No wounds are left allocated. This is pretty cool. It is a 50-50 chance of whether or not it works or not, but still pretty nice. If it weren't for the next 2, I'd probably take this a lot. But unfortunately, I mean, even though this is a good artifact, it's not nearly as good as the next 2, and I will always take the next 2 over that one. So let's look at these. Cloak of Feathers. Subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks that target the bear. In addition, add 4 inches to the bear's move characteristics, and then the bear can fly. So this artifact, like, pound for pound, is amazing. Subtract 1 for hit rolls for attacks that target the bear. Yes, I would take that as an artifact. In addition, add 4 inches to the bear's move characters. I would take that as an artifact. And then the bear can fly. I would take just that as an artifact. So we're getting 3 things that are all combined into one artifact. Amazing. This gets an A+ for an artifact. Cloak of Feathers. I'm always trying to figure out a way to get this into a list. Onto specifically Stegadons. Stegadons have that skink keyword. I'm looking to put this on a Stegadon and moving that Stegadon up the board, hitting something hard. It's flying, so it's getting over the tops of screens on the charge. This is amazing. -1 to hit. Yes, please. A+. Sacred Stegadon Helm. This is the third one. I left the flavor text on here because I thought it was great. The horns of this golden helm are said to be fragments of the great... nobody's going to remember that. A truly colossal Stegadon who served the old ones at the dawn of history. Those who wear it are gifted with the strength of their unstoppable charge. So that's pretty awesome to think that whoever's carrying this artifact it's a giant Stegadon, golden Stegadon helm this little skink's carrying. Or even better, you put this on a Stegadon, and he's already got a Stegadon helm, but he puts on another Stegadon helm, double helmed it. So some great flavor text there. But even better, look at this rules. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target the bear. In addition, add 1 to the damage characteristics of melee weapons used by the bear if they made a charge move in the same phase. So you do get +1 to damage. You're probably putting this on something that you want in combat, like a Stegadon or maybe a Troglodon who you're trying to push into combat range to do Croak's Bomb off of. But that damage characteristic for melee isn't probably going to be too impactful. What is impactful is that other +1 to the save rolls. So that is awesome, especially once we can combo that up with the command traits so that we're just like stacking +1s to saves. So I give this an A. Not quite as good as Cloak of Feathers, I think. I'll take Cloak of Feathers first, but Sacred Stegadon Helm, if I have an option to take an extra artifact on a skink hero, I'm taking that one. Let's look at the subfaction artifacts. So Dracothian's Tail, God Beast Pendant is basically the same thing as Incandescent Retresses. If you're slain on a 1 to 3, you stay dead. On a 4 to 6, you come back alive. Again, pretty cool. If you're taking a Dracothian's Tail list, you might combo that up with the command trait so that you're the Incandescent Retresses, so that maybe you'd have 2 heroes that are both have a chance to come back. So statistically, one of them should. So I like that one. It's not super useful because you do have to have something die first before it's ever used. I tend to want things that I can utilize that ability while the thing's still alive. So let's give it a B. I forgot. I can't remember if I've rated everything so far. Fangs of Sotek's artifact is Serpent God Dagger. So pick one of the bear's melee weapons. If you inflict any damage with that weapon, you roll a dice on a 5-up. The enemy model is slain. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of skink heroes that their weapon is super killy. So I think the best thing you can probably put this on is a Stegadon Chief. And the Stegadon Chief has 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. So you might sneak one through, but then you still got to roll a 5-up to kill him. So when it happens, it's going to be epic. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen all that often. I find myself with this artifact in Fangs of Sotek, it usually ends up going on some foot hero who's probably not going to be in combat. So not too much use. It is pretty cool, especially if it does happen. That would be awesome. We'll give it a B as well. It has some use, pretty epic, but in the end, it's not really all that great. Kotal's Claw, there's no skink artifact here. So Kotal's Claw, you can also get out of the command trait and the artifact. And so you can end up with a Kotal's Claw list that has a whole bunch of Saurus, but throw in maybe a Stegadon and just pump them up with a command trait and an artifact that are designated just for skink. Pretty cool. Little synergies there. Thunder Lizard, the Fusel of Conflagration. It's a shooting attack, 12 inches. You roll a dice, and it can do some mortal wounds. It can also destroy the artifact. It's pretty nice, especially in Thunder Lizard. You're probably going to have to end up taking this. And so if you don't want this, you're going to end up bringing in a battalion so that you can add another artifact. It's not bad. I've done some mortal wounds with it. It's an extra. It's a way to do some shooting attacks on something that might not have it. I've put this on an Engine of the God a lot because it doesn't have a native shooting attack. It does have the cosmic engine that it rolls, and it can do some damage. But this gives them a little bit of a shooting attack that happens. Note that it isn't it's not an actual shooting attack. So if you're running with something, you can still use it, and so that's pretty nice. So let's see what else we got here. Realm artifacts. I don't think I'm going to hit on too many of these realm artifacts. I don't think a lot of them are going to be all that useful for us. Like the Incandescent Rage Blade, we're not really going to have a good target for that in the skink heroes. The Plate of Perfect Protection from Shimon is pretty nice. I mean, it basically ignores that -1 rend. And there's a lot of stuff in Age of Sigmar right now that has -1 rend. So it is pretty useful. I don't like it as much as the other stuff, though. I think I'd rather have a -1 to hit or +1 to save that would always happen, that would always work, instead of this one, which only works against -1 rend. So it's okay. Probably the only other one I would want to highlight is maybe the Realm Artifact from Gyran, Everspring Diadem. In your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the bearer. You might, if you just were looking for an extra slot, you might put that on a Troglodyte, and so that the Troglodyte already heals D3 in their hero phase, so you could add 1 to that, make it really hard to kill. I still think I like the other stuff better, but if you're looking for ways to heal up, you have an Engine of God that's going to be rolling some heals. This might be an extra way to add on to that. Most of the other ones, I'm not really gonna take any of these realm artifacts. I think I like our artifacts better in skink. So let's look at some skink builds. And so I think I mentioned this a little bit before, but the 1-up save Stegadon. I'm taking I love Stegadons. I don't know if I've told you all that yet or not. So we're taking Nimble, and we're going to add 1 to his move characteristic, and we're adding 1 to his save. So as I said before, he's a 4-up natural. Now he's down to a 3. We're adding 1 to his save rolls from Nimble, and then I'm also taking Stegadon Helm, which is going to give him another +1 to save. So now he's down to a 2-up save, and I'm going to be looking to target him into something with 5 or less models so that he gets down to a 1-up. Now, natural 1s always fail, but if they have any rend, this will help you get past that. So it's also pretty awesome to have a 2-up save monster that can do some damage. So I like that. Your 1-up save Stegadon. Pretty good build there. My other favorite build that I take is the super fast Stegadon. This one is probably my favorite. You're giving him Nimble, so you're adding 1 to his movement and 1 to his save roll. And you're giving Cloak of Feathers, which we talked about before, is like just an amazing artifact with 3 things in it. So you're subtracting 1 to his hit rolls, you're adding 4 to his move, and that Stegadon can fly. So he's got an 8-inch move, a 1-inch move from command trait, a 4-inch move from the artifact, and he's flying. Now, depending on where you put this, you can slot this in a couple different places, but let's say you put it in Fangs, he's getting an extra 3 inches on turn 1 because he's a skink. Or you can add run and charge from either the Skink Priest or the Thunderquake battalion. Will give him run and charge. The Skink Priest will also give him an extra +1 to his save, so that's pretty awesome. So already you're going to be back to that 1-up save Stegadon if you take a Skink Priest with this. So he's running and charging. He's already got all that speed. Let's go ahead and give him a +1 to run and charge from the Sacred Asterisms, the constellation that the Slan can change, and or not the Slan anymore. I'm sorry, that's just our faction abilities. So you're looking at a 17-inch base move now for the Stegadon, if you're in Fangs for that one. 7-inch run, a max 7-inch run, because we got the +1, and he's going to run and charge. And I'll probably use a command point to make that a 6 if I need to. And then 2d6 +1 to charge. So you're looking at a max threat range of 37 inches for this flying 1-up Stegadon. Yes. So you take this and you scream that puppy across the board, and then you're making a charge and you're going over their screens and hitting onto that elite target that you're looking for. You're taking this into a hero so that you get another +1 to save. You're looking to tie up something with this Stegadon. If you've got him into Thunderquake, you're still getting that range minus about 3 inches. And so you're still going to hit whatever you want. And now he's -1 to hit from Cloak of Feathers, and he's -1 to his damage from Coalesced. This thing is nasty. It is nasty, especially if you're looking for like an alpha strike, a turn 1 strike in Coalesced. You send this guy across the board, over their screens, into their important stuff, and you may not kill like their centerpiece model that has tons of saves and all that kind of stuff, but you'll do some damage. And more than that, you'll make your opponent have to focus a lot of energy turn 1 on this giant 1-up save Stegadon that's all of a sudden in their grill. And that's 240 points, 250 points because it's the chief. So you're looking at 250 points of an alpha strike that's going to cause a lot of headache. Yes, this is what I like right here. This super fast Stegadon has great saves. I'm taking him, with a Priest or a Thunderquake to either make him, have better saves or more killy. Amazing, amazing synergies here. Lots of good stuff you can do with the Skink Artifacts and the Skink command traits. So those are my 2 builds that I like using with the Skink command traits and Skink Artifacts. Let me know, what is your favorite Skink loadout? What are your favorite command traits and artifacts, and how do you run them? Let me know below in the comments so I can make some better lists. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.